Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We're diving into the world of Hellraiser once more for part 3 of Hellraiser Below and Beyond. An unproduced and unmade script in the Hellraiser world, telling an expansion to the mythos, not, I repeat, not a reboot or a remake. If you're new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, I will leave it linked above, episode 1, and you can check out part 2 from there. And then obviously now come to this one, which is part 3. You really do need to check them out because you will have absolutely no idea what I am talking about otherwise. That being said, thank you so much for your continued support on this. It is taking a true toll trying to get through all of this, so I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it, and I'm really glad that you have supported this. But that being said, let's dive right in. Walking from the courtyard, he continues, "My pleasure is life." He takes a step toward his stairs. "I cannot satiate my hunger with living." He's dragging his heels. His head is shrouded in the shadow as the sun has begun to set. How much time has passed? How long had he been sat there with her in his arms? As he continues to step upwards towards his room, dark and empty, a reflection of his now blackening heart, we hear the distant bell tolling once more. The man is in such a daze, a trance of hypnotic internal reflection, he doesn't hear it. The bell tolls once more, and as the sun continues to set, the tolling rings out louder, closer, louder, and closer. And we see it. We hone in on the bloodied footsteps. A strange blue hue begins to emanate around them, as if an aura witnessed and seen by a seer. As he turns the corner to his room, that's when we hear it. The bell tolls one final earth-breaking song, shattering the doors to dimensions, realms and universes, cracking the very fabric of reality itself. Yet it does so silently. The order to the chaos of the night sky, that bell, the harbinger of that order to the chaos of the flesh. We hear a chain rattling, clinking in the wind, and yet the Thamud city is still tonight, frozen in this moment. However, doorways bring a draft, and the fabric of reality shattering has brought with it a bitterly cold gust. We see a foot in the sand, wrapped in black cloth. Though covered, there is an ominous sense of body horror. We can see the black cloth isn't quite the right hue, and as the blue light bounces and reflects off of this unseen entity's leg, the blood that is dripping so vigorously from it is revealed. The courtyard is a silent, peaceful hell tonight, as the man lays down in his bed, eyes transfixed to his ceiling. Hypnotized by his own actions, he falls unconscious into a dream filled with lament. The entity in the courtyard kneels down, revealing a shape similar to that of a man. Yet we're unsure, as his head remains shrouded in shadow, hiding the horror of what is inevitably lurking in the darkness. And as he does so, blood begins to pour from his wraps. His entire body is wrapped in this black cloth, ritualistic, tribal, religious, it isn't clear. Sweeping his hands in the sand, he begins to etch a sign, a symbol, a marking. We know this symbol, this configuration. Blood stains the sand, the blue lights shine. It's a peaceful and eerily beautiful sight. The figure, finishing the symbol, begins to slowly unwrap his coverings. A finger, his hand, upwards, He continues to unwrap each arm with a slow, twisting pace to some unheard and unseen drumbeat. Once completed, he holds both the wraps in his hands, offering them to an unseen god. No, a deity, a lord of this dark way. Here, we see what lurked underneath those bloodied dark wraps. The bones are broken, the muscle and sinew is a half-chewed up, hanging mess, rotten to the core. Marrow oozes from the centre of the shattered and splintered bones. His fingers grasp the wraps with a reverence not understood by a mere mortal. His head still shrouded in shadow, he speaks. A low hum fills the courtyard with each word, of a language not uttered on earth for thousands of years. And with the last hum, the bell tolls once more. The black cloth no longer in his hands, on his body, hiding the horrors of the necrotic flesh. We pan out to see the courtyard and the still silence that has washed over the city, and back to the blood-soaked sand, where the little girl was in her final resting place, and yet she isn't here. We pan back to the figure, the entity. The little girl's body has been moved. The figure has carefully, methodically removed her. The figure is holding her. She's being carried away by this entity, this figure with the blood-soaked wraps. The bell tolls once more, the blue light shines bright, and electricity fills the sky, and the blood-soaked etchings in the sand burns a bright red. A mist washes over the courtyard. The bell tolls again, and the figure, bathed in the mist, disappears with the girl. The moon in the sky over the courtyard, a mystic pearlescent shines down as the man continues to sleep, a restless, pained, nightmare-ridden sleep, one of anguish, hunger, and a red shimmer. A jumble of images blurred by chains and blue electric. A man on a stool with a long beard laughs, and he awakes. It's the next day. Rolling over, eyes heavy, his bones aching, skull pounding. He burns from the inside, pain beyond belief. The inexorable truth hits him like a horse's hoof to the face. The deplorable act he has committed, and yet he feels it no longer. The hunger, the desire for life, the strained starvation he once felt. No, it's gone, succeeded now by the bone-aching, skull-crushing pain he's experiencing. What has he done? What path does he now tread? He stands up, body convulsing, his ribcage snapping with each movement, his clavicles and scapula moving and twisting, and it's over as quick as it started. He rises. He utters in one low breath, salvation. Confirming what we had suspected all along, this is a man beyond redemption. In the sweet suffering of others, he had attained the salvation he desired, and thus satiated his hunger. And we're back in the market streets once more. It's later in the day, and as he had done the day previous, his arms are outstretched, running his hands over the trinkets, the food, the people. Lost in the ecstasy of the actions he has taken, in a daze he wanders, continuing through the winding, narrow pathways, down to the bulk of the bazaar, and as he continues, the ecstasy begins to fade. His feet drag, his heels are heavy, his arms no longer outstretched with energy and vigor. That hunger has returned. Why, he says to himself, did I not do enough? As he walks and questions himself, the bazaar ebbs and flows around him. And before he knows it, he finds himself back at Azaid's stand, eclipsed in the dark shadow from the buildings that surround it. We sweep up Azaid's stall to see him sat as he was before, half in the shadows and half in the sun, his wispy beard being curled in one hand, and he notices the man, smiling to himself. He speaks. "You've returned once more, yet now you seem changed, evolved, different. But do you comprehend what is happening to you? Dare I ask it once more? Can you confirm? What's your pleasure, sir?" Thank you so much for joining me for episode 3, or part 3, in Hellraiser Below and Beyond. I hope you are enjoying this. I realised after I had transcribed part 2 that there may be some slight people lost here and there. The writer of the story, the very clear intent at the end of part 3 was somewhat shock and somewhat awe at the little girl's death, but as I understand it anyway, it is purely character building and not really a cheap shot at an attempt at subversion of expectations. As I was personally reading the story, I knew that this man was going to be doing something. If he hadn't done something, I would have probably felt that it was a bit of a cheap shot at a change or a subversion of expectation a la Rian Johnson. So again, I know that some people were potentially put off by that, and a few people are still guessing as to what this story is unfolding. With this, personally, now, I would like to think that a few of you have realised exactly what story this is telling in the Hellraiser mythos. But anyway, if you did enjoy it, please do hit that like button. Please do share it. Also, at the end of part 4, I have a really special announcement. So I hope you tune in to part 4 of Hellraiser Below and Beyond. But that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I really genuinely love making these particular dramatization videos. So please do join me for episode 4 in a week or a couple of days. Thank you so much. Take care.